Okay. Who did you guys say you wanted to work for?
Black lampposts.
The Black Lamp Posts.
I couldn't remember their real name.
The lamplighter.
The lamp blacks.
Lampblacks. Lampblacks. They used to be the Coal Miners and Lamplighter Guild. But now that there's electroplasmic lights everywhere, it doesn't really matter.
Took our jobs.
Yep. Okay, so you guys are inside this big coal warehouse, and you're escorted up into this office. Off in one corner, you hear what sounds like a man being beaten. You can't make out. You know it's coming from like the back right corner, but that's not the direction they're leading you in. There's a they have an electroplasmic lamp that's casting a blue glow on the surrounding area, and they lead you upstairs into looks like an office that's overseeing the whole warehouse. And as you're climbing up the stairs, that's when you see back in the corner, it looks like a Red Sash has been captured, and they're just actively beating him right now. So you make it into this little office. There's coal dust everywhere here. This is a coal warehouse, so it's getting on the hems of your on your pants, and just the smell is everywhere.
I make a note to not touch anything.
You're trying your hardest.
Yeah.
You put your hand on the rail for just out of habit, and you're like, oh, damn it, and now your hand has a little bit of coal dust on it.
I'm perfectly at home here. Even take a deep breath.
I can see Harvest, after he gets it on his hand, he just kind of pats
Everyone
Clank
I
on
walk
the
past.
shoulder.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, I love that jacket. Are those new shoes?
Oh yes, they are new. Thank you for noticing.
So it's a very small office. It looks like it just used to be kind of the warehouse manager's deal. There's a potbelly iron stove over in the corner that's giving off some heat. There's a few candles that are lit, and once you guys get up here, they hang the light basically in the center of the room, and it just casts shadows down. Let's see who else is there. So basically, you're escorted by a couple of toughs, and Bazo Baz, the leader of the Lampblacks, has a bowler hat. He's sitting behind a desk that has started rotting. It's so old. There's one of the corners has kind of caved in from from just the moisture. And let's see what else is in here. Along the back wall are a couple of bottles of whiskey, a filing cabinet, and Bazo is sitting in this comfortable chair that looks very out of place. It's like looks like it was stolen from a noble's house probably a decade ago, but it still looks like it's the most comfortable chair in here. And there are also three stools that look like they'll hold your weight if you sit on them, across the desk from him. He says, "Welcome, sit down, boys."
I will move forward and take a seat at the invitation and incline my head in thanks.
So I start to try to dust off the stool futilely.
You pull probably a very white handkerchief.
Yeah.
White.
I'll sit down in that chair as soon as he's done dusting it off.
Well, I say white. It's white for Tier 0 gang. It's off white, and it's seen better days. So
It's still like completely black within 3 seconds, right?
yeah.
It goes into Frank's coat.
Okay. So you guys sit down, and he holds his hands up and is like, "So you guys are operating out of Crow's Foot now, and we have use of your services. There's a Red Sash pawn shop I want you to knock over, and you do this for us. You give us 1 coin, like we agreed, and the rest of the coin's yours." On side, actually, we'll go over to the desk wall map. There's a map of Crow's Foot, and let's see, what does he do? Let's go right here. So yeah, he says, yeah, this right there where that blue dot is. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to ping it.
Yep, I can see it.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a pawn shop inside this old apartment building. It's over top of a drug den, and just want you to go in there, knock it over, do your thing, get out.
You want the drug den knocked over too. Just the pawn shop.
Just the pawn shop. We're pretty sure that's where they're storing the bulk of their coin right now, since it has a secure safe up there.
And for a modest finder's fee, it seems.
Yeah. Out of character, he estimates probably 5 or 6 coins in the safe right now. And he wants 1 of it.
Just toss him our last leftover coin and be like, job's done.
Are we going to flash back and say we just knocked that over?
What else you got?
Amazing.
Okay, so yeah, you pull out the coin and lay it on the table, and you say the job's done, and the guy just kind of sits back for a second, and then we flash back. How did this happen?
No skirting around those corners, huh?
I'm gonna try to speed run this.
I got stuff to do, man. I ain't got time for the job's done.
Excellent.
All right. So 2nd story pawn shop.
Second story or like ground floor with drugs underground?
2nd story.
Well, I
It's on
didn't
the
get to
2nd story.
that because you set us to a flashback immediately.
Okay, this
We're
is
playing
in your
flashback.
this is in your hunting grounds. I'm not sure if what was your thing? It was sabotage. I can't circle that or anything, so I'll just write down this one. Oop, sabotage. I'm not sure sabotage applies, but I'll probably give you an extra downtime action to prepare for this if you think you need any asset, to acquire any asset or anything like that. But the way this works is we just pretty much jump right down into the action. Where is the engagement roll?
So is this where we decide on our load?
Yeah, at this time, decide on your load. And remember, you do not have the thief rigging, so you don't get the 2 free load. And pretty much we can decide our load a little bit later, but I think at this point you're supposed to know right away. Da, da, da.
I'm probably at normal load because I assume I'm going to be lugging around tools and like explosives and shit.
Cool.
I'm light.
Cool. So just mark that on your sheet.
Yep.
And Kent, how about you?
Oh, I'm gonna be light.
All right.
Just trying to figure out what tidbits I need. Like, I don't know what a fine lightning hook is, but it sounds like something I want.
You don't actually pick what gear you're taking with you until you need it. So
Oh, that's right. I'm gonna just uncheck that thing I had checked then.
there you go.
IR is light.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man, should I go light as well?
No, we need someone I can outrun.
Alright, that's fair. Alright, I'll stay normal. That makes sense to me.
Sure.
But you're the coal miner.
Yeah.
I'm a very small, petite man.
Are you?
Smallest man. Yes, it says it right on my
Phenomenal
look.
Cosmic power.
Blue skin. I walk around naked all the time.
I didn't ask if you were a Smurf.
Oh,
All right. So, what kind of job did you already successfully pull off? Was it an assault, a deception, a stealth, an occult, a social, or a transport plan? Some of these may not make sense. But did you kick down the front door, go in guns a-blazing, and kill everybody in the place?
I think we would have stealthed, or we would have done a deception. Probably walked in to sell stuff. What do you guys think?
That sounds reasonable.
And take it from there.
Deception or stealth, there's one more in the middle that sounded like it might have applied, but I forget what
Occult or social?
it was. Maybe it was social I was thinking of.
I like stealth. I like the idea that we go in. Hey, I've got a bunch of crates to sell. By the way, one of them's full of explosives.
So, right now, so pretty much what we determine is the type of plan. So if it's just deception, it's you lure, you trick, or you manipulate them, and you have to come up with the method of deception. For stealth, you pick the detail, the point of infiltration. What was the other one you were interested in?
Deception?
Yeah, deception, you pick the method of deception. Let's see if it has any good examples here.
Method of deception seems like if we went with that one, it would either be something along the lines of Harvest going in and, misdirecting with social cues or blowing something up.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do that then. All right. Do you want to use any of your? Do you want to gather information or do anything about this beforehand to get?
Yeah, like what if I just went in to sell something, cheap piece of glass that I con them into thinking it's a diamond, so I can get a look at the place.
That's cool.
Yeah, some reconnaissance so we know how many people are in there, any entrances
Exactly.
or exits.
Exactly.
Okay.
Detectors, alarms.
Sure. All right. Let's see. Let me pull up your sheet. You are Harvest. And I'll help you out a little bit. So you're trying to con him into something that might be sway. You're also wanting to kind of study the lay of the land. I think either one of those would apply, but pretty much what happens is you get to tell me, the game master, what skill you're going to use, and then I set the position and the effect. And we'll go through a couple of examples. Oh, we'll just play it out. So, which one are you more trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get him to buy this thing, or are you trying to get him to?
I'm trying to get him to buy a piece of junk, but at the same time I'm trying to study, so I don't know if you want separate things for that.
I think you're more concerned about the. Your plan doesn't hinge on him buying this piece of junk. You're just in here.
Right.
Okay.
So it'll be like, look, I'm very sorry I was away, but my fiance's boat sank. Now I have to make a rapid trip to deal with the affairs of her family, and I had this engagement ring that I was going to give to her today, but God, she's dead now, and I want to get as much value as I can so that I can ease my passage to her family's estate and try to make a good point of being there for them in their time of need. Can you help me?
Okay. So, yeah, you, this is, I'd say this is a controlled situation. There's nothing really risky about this right now. You make your way through through this big tenant building. There's rickety stairs and walkways kind of climbing up the outside of this building. It looks like a lot of people. It looks like the majority of people go in and out through the top rather than the bottom. The ground floor is dedicated all to the drug den. So there's different rooms where people are strung out on crazy stuff. And then you see a couple of Red Sashes, kind of toughs that are hanging around on the ground floor, making sure nobody's causing trouble. After you get in, you make your way up the stairs to the second floor. A guy pats you down. You're not carrying anything that's untoward, so they're not freaking out about anything. Let's see, and then you make it up to the Brass King pawn shop.
Cool.
There's a symbol of a brass king and a brass pawn, basically. You make it into the room, and and there's all kinds of you've been in these types of pawn shops before where there's just unorganized just junk laying around everywhere with some price tags on stuff and mostly not. But anything that's worth like something is behind a glass case or where you can't get at it. Mm-hmm. And in the back room, you walk up and there's a secure door over on the right, and the guy is standing in a cage, and it's looks like he's Eruvian, and he does not have a red sash on. He's definitely not a gang member, but he's working for the gang. You give him this spiel and slide him the ring through that through the drawer system that keeps him from being shot and keeps you from being able to shoot him.
Yeah.
And he starts looking at the ring, and then you study. So, when you're gathering information, you're usually looking for an answer. Does this have the sample questions on it?
I thought it did. What do they intend to do? How can I get them to X? What should I look out for? What's the best way in? Where can I hide here? How can I find X? And what's really going on here?
Yep. So we can just roll a general study. If you want to spend, since this is kind of the setup roll and the gather information, I'll give you a bonus die just for that. So you're 2, and you have, this will be a controlled roll, so bad stuff won't happen to you necessarily. So you can roll 2 dice, and you can push yourself for a 3rd dice, or maybe I can give you a devil's bargain.
Let's just go ahead and roll it.
Okay.
For now, at least.
So click study, and then I don't know. I've never rolled on this, so I think that's probably what you do. Let's see what we got.
That's a cool effect.
What is that? Why do you have 4? Why are you rolling 5 dice on your... Oh, there we go. Ooh, okay. Sorry, I was up where he was rolling his dice and he rolled like 5 dice. I'm like, what the deuce? Okay, that's cool. All right, so study. So you get a little more information than you were expecting. So he all right. So first of all, one of the things that's going on here is it looks like they've liquidated a lot of their good stock, so they're kind of flush with cash right now. You hand him the ring, and he's like, no, we're only selling right now. We're not buying. And one of the things you get out of him is the reason for that is because the Red Sashes are kind of gearing up for war, and they were planning on hiring some. He's very loose-lipped for some reason.
Yeah, like, so charming.
Maybe he's a little bit high on his own stash or something, but he liked your story. He sees you're a noble, and I think he's trying to show that he's like one of the toughs, one of the bad guys, and he runs his mouth a little bit to kind of brag. So one of the things that's going on here is they're trying to liquidate all the stock because they want a lot of money so that they can hire some mercenaries to go beat up the Lampblacks. So what else is going on here? So you see he's in a secure cage, and he says, no, I'm not interested in buying this ring, but you tell him your sob story, and he's like, oh, maybe I could get something out of this. So he starts running his mouth a bit, and you see where he goes back into the back room. He leaves the door open. You see there's a long rifle on the wall, and what else? And you see him go over to the side, and you can't quite make out what he's doing, but you know that he like either pulls a lever or you hear like a mechanical kind of chunk, and then you see a bookcase swing out, and you can hear him fiddling with the safe. He comes back with his jeweler's necklace and his little eyepiece, and he's still telling you stories about things. Huh?
It's called the
Jeweler's Loop. Okay. And then he looks down at it, and he's listening, and he looks up at you, and he looks down at this. He's like, sorry, sir. This isn't the prized heirloom that you think it is. Don't know how to tell you this, but this is just green glass. It is not an emerald. And he puts it back in the tray and slides it back to you.
All right, so they are actually competent. I will act shocked and sad and cry my way out, I think. Taking note of like how many people are in here, what their positions are, how well, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there were a couple of guards on the stairs, and they patted you down before you came in, and he gives you like a discount code for some feel better medicine downstairs, and he'll even tell you that he gets off at dawn. So if you want to come back then he can take you out for a drink or something.
Actually, I do want to go downstairs now.
Okay. Yep. You head downstairs. And the rest of you guys can be down here if you want to be. It's not just a one-man show here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of dominating.
No, it's cool. What you guys good at?
My thought here is I want to try to walk to where I would be underneath where the safe is, where the cage is.
Okay. Yeah.
And see if I can access that.
Yeah, you make it down. There's different rooms for different reasons. Some of it is ladies of the evening, but for the most part, it's just places to do certain drugs. And some people have like a private room, but this is a excuse me. This is a room where just a lot of people are smoking this some sort of opiate, and they're high and they're out of it. And some people are just doing like a weed-like substance and things like that.
Cool.
And yeah, you're in this room and you think, yeah, this is probably where it's at. It's not really access up there.
No, and there's not going to be like an attic to do it. But if a person was to bust through the ceiling,
Yep, you could do it. You could definitely come at it from this side, but it would be pretty obvious. You might be able to rig up some sort of distraction or something to get people out of the room, or to get like at least people that aren't tripping balls out of the room. And then another way you might be able to get to it is if you came at it from the top. Through like the apartment building proper.
yeah.
Okay, so
All right, I'll find the rest of the groups and let them know what I saw.
cool. So, what type of plan are we going with? A deception, or are we going with a stealth infiltration?
Well, Harvest has been there in person once already to scope the place out. Then it would be harder to have him be the one go back with a deception. Although I guess that's assuming it's a social deception.
The guy mentioned when he was leaving. So if there's a if
We
there's
don't have a deadline, yeah.
if there's a day shift, then if there's a day shift, then you can just wait till that guy's on shift, because the other guy's probably not going to be around.
So this is all happening on the same night. It's like we're scoping it out right before we go to actually do this.
Yeah, you heard about this through probably your blue coat contact. He heard through the grapevine that the Red Sashes were selling off a whole bunch of their stuff. They said, "Hey, why don't you guys go knock this place over?
Gotcha.
I got money on who's winning the the war, and I'd like to win that money."
What do you guys think? Deception, or what was the other one? Stealth?
Mm-hmm.
We can either try to cut in through the basement or the apartment above and get out without them even knowing the money's missing.
Yeah, so I have Saboteur, so when I use Wreck, it's quieter than it should be, and the damage is hidden from casual inspection.
I like this idea.
So that could be either, if we go through the basement, we just need to make sure everybody there is really, really high and not paying attention. And then maybe they would assume that, it was a drug addict that had a crazy idea that did it.
Yep.
Whereas if we went from above, we might have to deal with level-headed residents and people who would care more about it if they saw it.
Probably have more guards downstairs, though. More
Yeah.
Red Sashes.
Yeah, there's definitely a guard presence downstairs. So if stuff goes sideways, it'll go sideways quick.
Gotcha.
And we'll be on the ground floor. Never mind.
Well, then if we went from above, it might be easier for us to get out without a fight, which I don't know. I'm not really equipped for a fight, but Sparks is.
Everybody's equipped for a fight. You guys are scoundrels.
I guess
Yeah.
I do. I do have Wreck, which I think I can use in combat. So
Yep.
You're gonna wreck some guy.
Smash some vial of acid in his face. He's gonna get wrecked.
What does ectoplasm do if you just break a vial of it or a bottle?
If you're not doing anything, why don't you tell me what it does?
Well, I don't know. That's why I don't know the world enough to know if there's a set thing that it does.
What it's supposed
Make it
to
up.
electroplasm is supposed to be like the distilled spirit energy of ancient gods that swim the seas. So it could do kind of a lot of different things. It could be explosive, but more or less you can use it to power rituals. You
It's
can use it.
volatile magic fuel.
Yeah, it's volatile magic fuel. So we can. One of the things that we can do in as players is invent fiction, and that just becomes the way things are. So if you did have a vial of electroplasmic energy, what do you think would happen if you did that?
Interesting. I'm not saying I have one, but I'm not saying I don't.
Maybe you could use it to see through walls or something.
I was thinking I could use it as a screamer. Throw it on the ground and the spirits just wail.
Absolutely. You're damn right you can. Of course that's what happens.
That's fantastic.
If we needed a distraction for the getaway.
Right.
That's what I was.
Threw that in a drug den. Just be like, oh great. They're having too much of a good time down there again.
If we think about the apartment dwellers, they're probably going to be asleep at 2 a.m.
Yeah, people are coming and going, and usually if people are in this house, it's probably to sleep.
Yeah.
It's to sleep, it's to cook, and it's to like go back to their hell of a job that they hate every day. It's
So
they work
realistic.
like 12 hours a day, and they come home and they just crash.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are sharing apartments, so usually the apartments are full with somebody. Somebody sleeps there in the day shift. It's a slum.
And that they were all Red Sashes if they were living in the Red Sash building that houses both a drug den and a pawn shop.
Most of the Red Sashes actually are they sleep in the sword training academy. That's kind of their legit business. So most of the gang holds up there. There are a couple of people that hang out here, but it's not to live. They're a tier 2 gang, so they wouldn't want to live in the slums.
Oh god, they have a sword training academy?
Yes, they do.
Oh jeez.
Oh, let's go in through the apartment.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going for a stealth plan.
Stealth plan.
All right.
Entry point above. Let's do it at like my buddy gets off at dawn, so I figure if we go in at like 3 a.m. local, he's going to be tired. He's going to be thinking about his shift ending soon. He's not going to be thinking much. I've got a silence potion that I can break and just kind of muffle everything about going in from the top.
Sounds
pretty
good.
cool.
Sounds good. All right. So looks like we're doing a stealth plan, and the detail is the point of infiltration, which is up top through the apartment complex. This should be easy to get up there. Let's see. All right. So you get 1d for sheer luck. This is on your hunting grounds, so I'll give you 2d for that. What else is going on? Plus 1d for each major advantage. Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I don't know how to answer that. To me it is, but in terms of like standard infiltration, blowing up a wall is not the most outlandish thing I've ever heard.
All right. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so.
No.
So right now, I'll give you the die for bold and daring. I think it was really cool the way you just threw the coin on the table and said, yeah, we already did that. What else you got?
Well, I also think like if we do this the right way, they don't know that they've been robbed,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe we can laugh at one of the redcoats as they get blamed for stealing their own money.
Sure. So, does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I don't think this is really where they're weakest.
But it's where this operation's weakest coming from a residence above it. I would argue that that's a vulnerability to the pawn shop.
Maybe so. There's not really a way back through there. Actually, I'm not going to give you this one, Kent. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I think aside from the lore-based reasons that we set this up in the first place, probably not.
Well, I'd count that guy. Like, he gave you kind of the tip, so we can have 4D. Are there any rivals that are looking to piss in your Wheaties over this?
There's that faction we pissed off.
Does anybody have a spirit trafficker that they don't like?
I do.
All right, we're
What's
down to 3
Psychonaut?
dice then.
That is my enemy.
Okay. All right, then we'll go for 3 dice. All right, how do I roll 3 dice? Do I just come up here?
Yeah, go up to the die on the. Go to which one you want, and then go over to 3.
Number of dice. So this is 3. Oh, wait, no. Here we go. Roll engagement. Number of dice. 3. All right. So let's see how well our scoundrels are starting off this operation. The only thing that this sets up is this sets up the position. All right, let's look at it. 5, 3, 2. So 1 through 3 is a desperate position. 5 is a risky position. And a 6 is a controlled position. And that pretty much determines what your effect level is going to be for your first few sets of actions. And now the fiction will kind of flow from here.
So risky.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Game wise, if I didn't like that, could I spend a stress to get you to re-roll it or change that?
No, the engagement.
Wasn't sure if that's how stress worked.
Nope. Stress. You can use stress to do a flashback. You can use stress to push yourself, or you can use stress to help other people. And,
Okay.
Like aid another. One thing I forgot to mention about aiding somebody when doing an action. That also puts your ass on the line for the any kind of repercussions that happen from that roll. So if there's any kind of bad fallout, then you'll suffer some of the same consequences. All right, so
Fate will be the same.
so there's a. Let's head back to here. I think this is more in theme for where we're at. So, like I said, there's all kinds of scaffolding. There's clotheslines and makeshift planks that are laid across between different buildings that are nearby. There's kids that are running on this rickety ass stairs and ladders, and parents screaming, "Don't run on the catwalk, you stupid kid!" And then, like, when they do, like, other people, adults are like, they're holding on, and they're like, "Oh god, this whole thing's gonna come crashing down."
Jeez.
There's it's starting to drizzle a bit, and the first bit of drizzle with the city really just kind of kicks up the stink a bit. Something is definitely rotting in the canals just from people throwing stuff off, and just that moisture in the air. Just that moisture in the air picks up all the dirt, the grime, and the chamber pots that have been thrown out of windows. So you make it up to the top of this, and make your way into the apartment complex. 2 of you are at light load, and 1 of you is at standard load. And you make your way into the top floor. So you're on like the 5th floor, and there's 1 Red Sash guard that's kind of keeping an eye on things at the stairwell that's going down. And you guys come around the corner and make eye contact with him. How do you handle this situation?
We make eye contact with the guard.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason we couldn't be here, right?
No.
We're in the residence area, so.
The only thing that would be apparent is I'm carrying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you look like a scoundrel.
So I think that if we get closer and he starts to react to us, I should hit him with my Stun gun.
That's
Which-
that's definitely something you can do.
Which
Yeah,
is
but-
just a use of my skill that I took, Tempest.
So I think we kind of like make the effect of weary workers coming home after a long, long shift, kind of muttering about, just see all the rocks I broke today? Yeah, you broke a bunch of rocks.
Rocks are bad. I don't like rocks.
Yeah. and just kind of, slump forward like we're defeated.
Okay.
So we get past him.
All right, so I hear a couple of different things going on. I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler alert. He is going to stop. Don't have names written down right now.
Aldo?
No.
Clank.
Not all. Clank.
Yeah, he is going to
Clank.
stop Clank. Here now, what's this about? What are you doing?
Oh, yes, it's like my friend said, we were smashing rocks all day. It's very tiring work. These are my rock smashing tools. And I do, in fact, have demolition tools with me, which I believe includes things like a sledgehammer and
Sounds rock smashy.
Crowbar.
crowbar.
All right, so
Bag marked loot.
So yeah, you just open up your coat and show him like you're smashing stuff, and let me see here. Where is a character sheet? I
If
don't
we're
have-
looking for roles, maybe sway. If we're trying to sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, or bluff, this is
Yeah.
at least 2 or 3 of those things.
Sure. All right. So this is a risky. This is a risky roll. So right now you're at 1 die. Let's see. Excuse me. Would anyone like to assist him?
Well, I am getting ready to shock this guy if it goes south. So
I'll
I
assist.
probably cannot assist because
Okay,
I'm
that's
thinking about what I have to do if things go piss poor in our first mission immediately.
All right. So you're assisting. So that's up to 2 dice now. Would you like to push yourself for another die, or is 2 enough, or would you like a devil's bargain?
So if I push myself, I just take 2 stress.
Yeah.
Or a devil's bargain. Now, a devil's bargain is something where I can suggest something,
Sure,
or
you can just-
suggest something.
Yeah, usually it's a negative to get you a bonus. So how about one of the things he does is I'll give you a devil's bargain. He'll say, "All right, yeah, I'll have somebody run that sledgehammer down for you, but we don't want that kind of stuff up here." So you can get 3 dice to get by him, but then you won't have your sledgehammer. If you don't like that devil's bargain, you can suggest a different one, or you can tell me to stuff it. and
No,
roll your 2 dice.
here's my question. Taking a sledgehammer, I just kind of had that under the umbrella of demolition tools. Does that mean I'm losing all of my demolition tools?
Yeah, you would lose enough of them to where they wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah, I think this plan hinges on that, so I can't let that happen.
Okay.
Um,
Another devil's bargain, or just roll 2 dice.
I think I'm just gonna roll it.
Do it. Let's see what happens.
So, should I temporarily add another die to my sway to represent that, or
No, if you just click it, it should say.
They'll ask you how many bonus die
Oh,
you
okay,
want.
gotcha. Position risky, you said.
Risky.
Effect standard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Bonus die 1.
You can do it.
Apparently, I kind of can.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So he looks at you sideways, but you give him the story, and your friend helps out.
Could you just let us pass, my good sir? We are tired. Our beds beckon.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Poor people don't know the word beckon.
Wait a minute. So I'm going to start a clock. Lori, will you log in over here?
A clock
What?
of real time.
No, not of real time.
Woo!
So I'm going to start a clock where there's something suspicious going on, and the guards are alerted. So I might just make Lori my clock manager, because I'm drawing. Watch it. Okay,
This is the 2 o'clock manager.
so this will be a 6-section clock.
Oh, God.
And this is the guards are alerted, and I'm going to tick 2 of those right now.
Oh no.
You can, if you don't like that, then we can resist, and I'll untick one of the clocks, and we will roll whatever resistance stat is under or is over sway.
What does that mean?
Okay, that means like
So if I wanted to resist,
anytime I give you a negative action, you can go, I want to resist that. I don't like that. Don't tick that clock that many times.
Okay.
How many ticks does it get?
This is a 6-tick clock. So I filled in, I'm going to fill in 2, and if you want to resist, I'll take away 1.
and what's the cost to me to resist? It has something to do with stress, or
Yeah, where is your sheet?
so I have
One
2
second,
different skills in resolve at rank 1. So I would roll 2 dice for resolve.
Yeah, you take, you would, the amount of stress you take is equal to 6 minus the roll of 2 dice. So if you roll a 5 and a 2, then you take the 5, and it only costs you 1 stress. But if you rolled 2 1s, then it would cost you 5 stress.
Oh God. I think I'm just gonna eat it for now.
What?
Seems kind of risky.
Oh, that's why they can't see that. That makes sense.
So
I went
would
over
I
to
roll
this.
4 dice because I have 2 in attune and 2 in consort?
You would roll 2. It's
Okay.
it's just that first column.
Yep. Oh, it's just the first count. Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
Trivia
This isn't a big deal. Either take the 2 ticks and go, or try to resist it and keep
I
on
think
trucking.
I'll take the 2.
Take it for now. Yeah.
Alright.
He's going to
So-
take it. His tick hole.
So he goes.
Do time, or do you want to?
Yeah. Will you write down guards alerted? Okay. So
Can you have Lori mute herself in roll 20?
It's all right. Just look like it's not like we're playing with Legos or anything.
Yeah. It's not as bad as Legos.
I'll do it.
If not, that's no worries.
No, I got it.
I thought it was sight.
I mean, you can also just go in and click the thingy on her to mute.
Oh,
her.
I can?
That's what I did.
Oh. I didn't know I could do it. I learned something new about roll 20 today.
Huzzah!
Hooray!
Hooray! Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So you the guards he stands up, he looks at you, you show him the sledgehammer for breaking rocks, and that makes sense to him. He's like, all right, whatever. And he waves you downstairs. Now that you're inside, can you guys see the clock now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What layer am I on?
Guard alerted. Is that just free-handed by Lori?
Yeah,
That's impressive.
she's using a tablet, so it's a lot easier to write
Okay,
with a
well,
stylus.
that's cheating. So I rescind my compliment.
Ouch. You're a jerk.
It's still good. I too have a wife who's extremely talented and can write on a tablet.
Cool. All right, so
Let's all brag about our wives.
I complimented Lori for her good handwriting here before realizing that it was just her writing on a tablet.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Okay.
Allie said, "I can't write for shit on this bitch," while indicating her tablet.
so you you open the side of your coat and show him like some chisels and a hammer and stuff, and so that calms him down a bit. And I picture Sparks is also reaching into his coat, seeing if this is about to go south. But then he waves you down, and so then his hand just kind of slides back out.
I had an itch.
He scratches his belly and then brings his hand back down. So you guys make it down to the 4th floor, and here there's nobody stopping you from going down even further. You make your way down to the 3rd floor, and some of these there's trash in the hall. One of the hallways has collapsed. And you make your way down to the 3rd floor, and the stairs down to the 2nd floor have been blocked off. Excuse me.
Shh.
There's so there doesn't seem like there's a way to get down to the 2nd floor itself.
That's fine. Based on what I saw earlier, then, where would be directly above the vault?
You're not 100% sure. Like, there's lots of twisting and turning passageways, and you've had to go down halls. And like one of the sets of stairs that you went down was like a recent addition, and so you're not quite sure. But maybe we could make a roll to figure out where the heck that is.
Designed by
What would you like me to
MC
roll?
Escher.
Personally, I could see hunt. You're hunting for the location.
Oh!
If you don't like that, possibly study.
I'll do a study again. What's my position? Risky?
Here, I would say it's controlled still, or it's controlled now. Like you've made it past the guards.
Okay.
So you're trying to figure out where things are.
And what's the effect? Standard?
Standard, yeah.
I'm assuming no bonus dice.
You can push yourself if you want, or
Ooh.
okay. Yeah, you're just you're not 100% sure. So what this means is, like you failed a controlled roll. So usually that means one of two things: either you don't try and you try a different approach, or you keep trying and it becomes risky. So the way I picture this is maybe you start drilling holes down into the into the floor below you, but then you might be drilling into the wrong spot, and then we'd be ticking some more sections
Boxes.
on this clock. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I was downstairs. I was below this. I don't know exactly where we are up here. We can decide whose fault that is later.
I blame this rickety construction and this maze-like apartment building tenant house.
Yeah.
This used to be like probably at one time a swanky hotel, but since then, like walls have been broken down and re-put up. Some walls have holes in them, and just there's not like a natural flow to this building anymore. You've had to you maybe even had to walk through somebody's room who's sleeping on the hallway there.
What do you think, Sparks?
Well, looking through my bags to see if I have anything that'll help us out.
Oh, I should do that too.
Since you guys are kind of new to the system, one of the things you might be able to do is attune to the ghost field to
Right.
try to get like a psychic sense of where you're at and where that vault is.
I was thinking about that.
Is that what about like one of the items I have is documents? Could that be a document that shows us like a floor plan so we could determine what the correct room is to drill down from?
I think that's usually for documents to say, "Hey, I have papers for this gun," or
Gotcha,
"I
okay.
have papers to be here." If you wanted plans for the building itself, that could be handled in like a flashback, probably by spending one stress and hitting hitting one of your contacts that might be relevant.
All right. So I think I'm going to sit down, get out a little bit of black salt, a little bit of quicksilver. I'm going to mix those two together. Of course, not worrying about whether it's poisonous or not. Going to rub it all over my face, and I'm going to attune to the ghost layer and look for the location of the vault as in relationship to us.
All right.
That's cool.
Those are both items out of my arcane implements pouch.
So one of the things that I don't know that this character sheet conveys is there's some stuff that's like really small. One of them is, and they're written in italics in the book, but I don't know that they're written in italics here. And they
Are you saying the ghost key?
Yeah, and that doesn't count against your load.
Oh, so I would use the ghost. I would use the ghost key probably to facilitate the connection to the layer. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was just saying that that stuff in italics doesn't count against your load. One of the things that you have though is called a spirit mask, and that makes your connection stronger and lets you see things a lot more clearly.
That's one of the things I have to take though.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you would tick that off if you wanted to
Yes.
use that.
I will do that.
Okay, so that'll give you a bonus die and possibly increase your effect. I can read what that does, but I think we'll just keep the game flowing for now.
Okay.
So what? How many dice do you normally roll? Two for a
2.
team?
Yep. I have 2 dots.
All right. So let's see here. Anybody have an interesting devil's bargain, or does anyone want to help him attune?
I don't think I can help him with a tune.
If I try to tell him what I saw downstairs,
Sure.
I'll help him.
Okay, you'll have to hold hands, and
No.
and now you'll be
When the demons come, they'll get us both.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, can I actually, would I be able to do something like use, this might be a stretch, but use Tinker to determine whether through piping or electricity where it would have been wired to for the safe or something?
That would be a different approach, yeah. It wouldn't be for I guess you could spend the stress and give him one die, or Andrew can spend one stress and give him one die. So whichever one of you wants to do that, mark a stress on your sheet, and then you can have a bonus die, Kent.
I'll take
Okay.
stress.
What's my position?
You guys have been messing around down here for a little bit. I'm going to say it's now risky.
Okay. And effect?
Effect standard.
And bonus die of 1, you said, correct?
Mm-hmm. Unless somebody can come up with a devil's bargain. Did you?
Does he get 2 bonus dice because Andrew's giving him one as well, and he's getting one from the item?
Yeah, it should have. So you get one
Uh-oh.
more. So go ahead and roll one more die.
The D6, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You can just slash roll 1d6. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a 5. So risky. Let's see. All right. How about this? You put on the spirit mask, and tell me, what does attuning to the ghost field and like kind of seeing through stuff? What does that look like, Kent?
So when you attune to the ghost field, everything sort of goes into light blues and whites and wispy looking. And you don't really ever see a ghost. You just sort of feel their presence on where they want to take you when you're looking for an object like this. So essentially, he guides me through the maze in my mind, the maze of the hallways to the spot that he wants me to go to.
Okay.
Or she. I'm not sexist, so it could be a female ghost also.
I just,
And what I do at the end is I pour a little bit of that quicksilver out onto the ground, and that quicksilver will run the path that it walked me.
okay.
Ooh, that's cool.
So you put on your spirit mask, and spirit masks are all weird and creepy and very unique to each whisper. So be thinking about what that might look like.
Okay.
But I still picture that your eyes flicker with electricity even more when you're attuning to the ghost field.
That would make sense.
And so you start searching around, and you start kind of reliving the moment that that Harvest was walking through, and he was telling him the sob story about his his dead wife, and the quicksilver falls onto the ground and starts snaking its way. I'm going to tick on the clock for guards alerted, and you also see a ghost that's behind the shop. Looks like it's been bound there somehow.
So like a sentry.
Yeah, and it lashes out at you. So you take level 1 psychic harm
To both of us.
to both of you.
Is that just in the harm thing? I just put like an X there.
Yeah, put
Psychic.
put headache or psychic or something there. So the way harm works, if the harm applies to the situation, then you'll suffer less effect. So mostly we've been at standard effect, so you would be at reduced effect, or I forget, limited effect. I forget what the name of it is for certain things. And I think this would probably apply to other attune actions. So if you want to resist that, you can. You would be rolling resolve.
You know what? I'm going to resist it because I saw a ghost sentry, and I may need to attune again in my mind to do something about that ghost sentry.
I think that's fair. So go ahead and click resolve.
And no bonus dice.
Nope. So you suffer 1 stress for resisting that.
And I don't have the headache.
And you don't have the headache, so you can take that off. Or you could take off the tick that I added. Either one.
We'll leave the tick.
And I noticed that I made an 8-segment clock when I meant to make a 6-segment clock. So I did say 6, but I drew 8. So I'm sorry about that.
Well, it's okay. We'll take the extra time. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so you see that that ghost, and Clank, it kind of overwhelms you for a second. Sparks just shrugs it off, but you it just like points horrifically at you, and you just feel your breath gets cold, and it just feels like despair.
Harvest. Sorry to hear that your wife died. Sounded terrible. And that you got ripped off when you bought the engagement ring. Double terrible. But how did you get fooled? That's ridiculous. One other thing to
I
note,
just rub my eyes.
Clank, is that we have a specter, a spirit guard in the shop. There's a ghost bound in the shop. Must be protected to set off an alarm. I wasn't able to find out what it was. I was too busy listening to Harvest's story. I got distracted.
Well, I don't think I can blow up Spirit or smash with him. So, hopefully, you can take care of it.
I have an idea.
Okay. So you know where, like, what room the vault is in, and it was behind the shop where he was where the shop owner's pawn shop kind of opened up with the cage to the rest of the shop. So it's just in that little back room. So you know where that is, and you know the ghost is kind of in the area behind that in a different part of the building.
Okay.
But the Quicksilver will take us right to the room above.
Yeah, it took you to the room where
Where we need to dig.
the little office.
All right.
Yep.
So, clarification for me, I had previously mentioned that I was, bringing my demolition tools, and I showed him the sledgehammer. On my sheet, demolition tools is a 2-box item. Does that mean I should check both of those boxes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to take a break to put my kids to bed.
Okay. Well, we can sit tight for a little bit, and listen to Andrew's idea.
Okay.
One of the things I'm carrying is a Spirit Bane charm.
Cool. So, Spirit Bane charms, what that normally does is it's kind of a ghost ward. If given the opportunity to attack 2 people, it will prefer to attack the one that doesn't have the spirit charm. It's not like protection unless you try to make it protection. So you could try to do some sort of skill or some sort of skill roll where you invoke that as an item. And
Yeah, I think my plan would be to pass it over to Sparks and have him kind of like spread this effect out and maybe give us an area of effect where the ghost won't come.
Sure. Actually, he has black salt, and one of the properties of black salt is spirits can't cross it. Like they can't.
Oh, well, heck. We're fine.
Asterisk.
Asterisk, says Caitlin. So what do you guys think so far of Blades in the Dark?
I like the way it's set up. I think it's pretty cool. I like being able to jump right into the situation and then, have obstacles pop up and then tick away resources as you go. I think it's very... it offers a lot of storytelling opportunities.
It moves quick.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we went through all the crew creation, and that takes probably about as long to go on a score. One of the reasons why I like it is like the prep time's really kind of low. You don't have to do a whole bunch of prep time as the game master. It's kind of a shared responsibility for the group to come up with stuff. Pretty much what you have to come up with is, hey, a location, and maybe a few NPCs and some descriptions of rooms and stuff, and some obstacles, and then boom, you're done.
Yeah.
And then the fiction just flows, and sometimes it's good, and there's lots of 6s all in a row, and sometimes it's bad, and there's nothing but failures, and we just we roll with it and see where the story takes us.
There's a game that I just recently found out about called Fiasco, and it's a storytelling focused game, but the basic premise is each session of the game you play is a self-contained story. Usually takes like 2.5 hours, where you and everyone else, there's no game master, so everybody's a player, and it's collaborative, but all of you are playing characters that are involved in like an average Joe heist where everything is going to go catastrophically wrong by the end. So it's like a love letter to Office Space and what's that other one? Burn After Reading. Like a bumbling heist movie, basically, where everything goes wrong. And I just find that to be fascinating. And it's really interesting the way it's set up. You have like a pool of dice that you use to allocate to different locations and scenes, and there's a bunch of prep work you do at the beginning of it to, establish where it is, what's going on, who are the characters, and you can make some decisions, and some of it's determined by random rolls on loot or on tables and things like that. But just the idea that it's very collaborative, and when it's your turn, you can go in a circle and everybody has a turn. You can either establish a scene and determine a location and say who's involved in the scene, and then everybody else gets to resolve that scene, or you can choose to resolve a scene that's already been established by somebody else. So I haven't gotten the chance to play it yet, but just conceptually it seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
to learn how it works sometimes. What are we looking at time frame wise for tonight?
We can probably go till about 9:30 or 10. Probably won't take longer than that. You guys are about halfway through the score, I'd say.
Okay, cool. I can make that work.
If we need to go sooner, we can. And we can just make it a one shot across 2 nights.
I'm still.
Do we want to keep playing or wait for Kent?
I don't mind waiting for him.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do a few more.
A position where we're in the same place doing stuff together, so.
As a heads up for me, though, this will probably be the last of me for a while. The
Aw.
next scheduled session we have, I'm going to be on a boat.
On a boat.
Where's your boat going?
Jamaica, Antigua, Cozumel.
Nice.
We're doing
Trying
a-
to get everywhere from the Kokomo song.
Yeah. We're doing a Disney cruise with the kids at the end of the month.
Oh, cool.
That was what was our next one supposed to be, the 2nd? Is that it?
Yeah, if it's every 2 weeks, I think the next one's the 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
I should be meeting Darth Vader that day, so.
Nice.
Excellent.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
You will be missed, sir.
Of course.
Well, thank you.
I'll just plan a little bit more stuff so I don't have to think of stuff on the fly then.
There you go, that works.
So if it's a one shot for 2 nights, is that a 2 shot?
That's a 2-shot, 1 shot.
I'll let you ponder that as you show.
It was the mailman.
Has anybody come up with a name for the gang yet?
Oh man,
That's the hardest part.
maybe we haven't come up with a name. Maybe we're trying to see what we pick up in the moment.
The professionals.
The professionals. Sparky, Sparky, Boom Boom.
Will be called the Get Them. Every time we do something, everyone chases after us, yelling, "Get them! Get them!"
Wonderful.
I think you're gonna get credit for some stuff you didn't do.
Get us down there without too much trouble.
I'll break the silence potion. I'm gonna assume, again, based on everything else we've done, that it's basically the silence spell from D&D with like a 20-foot radius of quiet.
Yeah, pretty much. Sound can't pass through the bubble. Like it doesn't
Perfect.
happen inside the bubble, doesn't happen outside the bubble.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And you're already quiet, so I'm going to make this increased effect. Or actually, I guess I'll make it. I think I'll make it increased effect and controlled because you guys are in a hallway. Not many people are moving. I think my cat's about to vomit.
Oof.
Oh no.
Is that in game?
Maybe.
Cat off the left.
Was it the same cat? A different cat.
Add 1 mark to the guards loaded tab.
Yeah.
As we're all like, no, oh no.
So yeah, I think this will be a controlled, great effect roll for Rec.
Okay.
And you have increased tools, so give yourself an extra die for that. Does anybody want to help him wreck some stuff? Or
What should I put effect at?
Uh,
There's standard, limited, great, extreme, and 0.
we'll say great.
Great.
Does my pointing to the very specific spot I want him to blow up help?
Not really.
Because that's about all I got there.
If you want to take a stress and come up with something that you can say would help, then sure.
No, I don't. I unfortunately am not feeling that creative right now.
I really think you've got it at this point. We've added a lot of modifiers to this.
Okay.
Alright, so I get my standard dice. How many bonus dice do I get?
One for your tools, and did you have fine tool? Tell me about your what's it say under your character sheet?
For under the equipment list, what I marked off is demolition tools.
And it just says
sledgehammer and iron spikes, heavy drill, crowbar.
nice. Okay. So yeah, and since your tools are upgraded for your gang, then you get a bonus for that. So you're at 3 dice.
Oh dang! Okay,
Bonus.
that sounds nice. So, 3 dice. Here we go. Ooh,
That was way too many dice. That was 3 bonus dice.
I
Sorry.
thought that's what.
Sorry, I meant 1 bonus die, but we'll go ahead and just say
Oh,
it was a 4.
Well, I would have had a 4.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought I got 2, and then you gave me a bonus die for the tools and for the circumstance or something. I don't know.
Controlled and great means that just affects like the outcome of the roll and the risk and the reward for the roll.
Okay.
The bonus dice are 2 was for your rec, and then I was saying, and then since you have some cool tools for the job, just having the tools lets you have the standard effect, but
Gotcha.
I'm giving you a bonus die because you have fine tools because of the upgrade.
Gotcha.
So if that was the worst roll it could have been, you would have still had a partial success. So I'm going to just tick this tick this clock one more time.
No.
And well, if you don't like it, you can
It's fine. I
resist.
guess.
And so I picture you like peeling back a section of the rug, and Andrew smashes Harvest smashes that silence potion down on the ground, and then everything's just kind of muffled. And you start you tear up the carpet, and you drill a couple of holes, and you start cutting through it. And
Prying up the boards, the crowbar.
you pry up the you pry up the boards and leave stuff around so you can kind of replace it so it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
And then you guys can drop down into the office.
Take a quick look. Make sure there's no one like right underneath us.
Yeah, it looks like this office is closed and it's still dark. You guys
Cool.
have some sort of light source. That's just standard gear for everybody, whether it's a lantern or a flashlight or something like that.
I have dark sight goggles as an option.
Ooh.
I have a lantern as an item, but I don't know if I want to spend the item.
Oh, somebody has to have a light source somewhere. So if not, that would have changed a lot of stuff. Because there's not lights in the hallway or anything like that. So somebody go ahead and spend one load on a lantern.
I will take the lantern.
Okay. So yeah, you peer down into the office, and you can see kind of the lay of the land. You know what general area the secret the secret catch was to open up the bookcase, but you don't know exactly what it is. So who all's dropping down?
I am for sure.
I'm holding the lantern up top so they can drop down.
Yeah, I don't mind you staying up there for now.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go down with them. I have one prowl. I can kind of be sneaky.
I'm gonna have you kind of stay back and watch as I prowl.
Okay.
That's fine.
So yeah, both you guys creep down, and the silence potion is still there for now, but it's starting to wear off. So you're using hand gestures, like you point at your eyes and point at the door, and you can see like a flicker of candlelight underneath that, and a shadow every once in a while. Doesn't look like he's moving, just looks like he's sitting.
Yep.
And you start looking around for the catch. How do you do that?
Okay, so we're looking for a lever to open the bookcase to get into the safe.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, you know where the safe is. The safe is behind the behind this bookcase. So you could like just wreck that mechanism and kind of pull it away.
Sure.
We don't need to do that.
You can hunt for the switch that kind of makes that possible.
Can you hunt at all?
I cannot hunt. I don't have
Same.
any hunt.
You both
Same.
can hunt. You have 0 dice, but
Yep.
you can push for 1 die, and the other person can help for another die.
Let's do that. I'll hunt.
What if I'm trying to tinker the bookcase open instead of smashing it to pieces? If it's a mechanism, can I determine how the mechanism works to get us inside there?
Yeah, I'd let that go.
Okay.
Yeah, then I would. I think I would like to try to tinker to see if I can disable the lock, keeping the bookcase in place, so it'll just fly open for us.
And I will help by trying to point out where the guy was standing when he triggered the mechanism place.
Okay. Well, go ahead and mark a stress if you want to give him a bonus die.
Yep.
You have some sort of tinker tools.
I do have tinkering tools.
Okay, so
which
that's
I will mark off on my sheet. So 1 point item.
so that's 2 bonus dice, and if you push yourself or take a devil's bargain, you can get a 3rd die.
Okay. Do I get a bonus die for my fancy tools, or is that already included there?
Okay, I'll start over. It starts out at 0. You get 1 for your tools, being fancy. You get one for him helping, and if you want to push for a third die, you can either push or get a devil's bargain.
I feel like the 2 bonus with my 2 tinker is probably going to be good. Maybe.
Okay. So roll 4 dice.
And position is risky.
This would be risky position because there's a guy right on the other side of the door.
Right. Effect standard.
Effect standard, yeah.
Oh! Is that a critical success?
That is a critical success. So if you roll a 6, and you get 2 6s, then that's a critical success. So you get a little bit further. So while you're tinkering, you just kind of follow. You see the mechanism. You kind of follow it back. I'm not ticking any clocks. 6, you get exactly what you want. You actually you start tinkering with it and figure out, oh, here's where it is, and you pull the lever, and you remember like there was a very distinct like mechanical chunk, and you can feel like a little bit of vibration in the floor, but with that silence potion still going, you managed to do it so quick that the silence potion was still going, and the thing swings open
Nice.
without a sound. So no more ticks. You guys are back in the office.
He turns and gives Harvest a very self-satisfied smile. Maybe buffs his nails on his shirt a little bit.
I give him a silent high five.
Yeah.
Nice!
So the bookcase swings away, and you see what looks like a very sturdy safe.
I walk over to it, crack my knuckles.
You crack your knuckle and it does make a sound. And you're like, crap, and then you're like, okay, we can do this. That's good. You start fiddling with it.
I will use my fine lockpicks.
Excellent. And normally this was going to be a higher tier than your crew, but with your special ability, that's just negated. So
Yep.
you get a
Can
bonus
I-
die from your thing. How would you like to assist? Is that-
Yeah, I would like to assist. I think probably also with Tinker, because
Sure.
Tinker is for picking locks, cracking safes. So he's got professional equipment that I don't seem to. So maybe I will in turn use my mechanical aptitude to offer instructions as to how he might go about taking apart the lock from the inside or something.
Absolutely. Mark a stress, and then you can have a bonus die for that, a bonus dice for your tool, and so I think you're up to 4 dice now.
Yep.
Still risky, standard effect.
Yep. All right. I think 4 dice will do it. Got a good feeling about this.
Oh, it's not bad.
All right, so you start finessing with the you start finessing the lock open, and you try a couple of times, and the tinkering tools are helping. He's like made a couple of small like drills into the safe, and you're making progress on it, but it isn't quite there. The back wall starts to frost up a bit, and frost is usually a sign of ghostly activity. And I'm going to tick this clock one more time.
Oh no!
I'm going to resist.
Which one?
Oh, there are 2 things.
The ghost getting agitated, or the guards getting alerted?
They're not the same thing. Okay. I'll resist the ghost with my charm.
Okay. Go ahead and make a resistance roll for me. Whatever is under finesse, or whatever category finesse is. I don't have that memorized yet.
Prowess.
Prowess. So click prowess.
1 bonus dice for the charm or not?
Yeah, sure.
Oof.
Okay, so you take 1 stress.
Well, I While I see
Yeah.
the wall frosting, can I go back out and sort of wave my hands up at Sparks to?
You guys can talk really quietly. right
Yeah.
now. Like the silence potion has worn off. But yeah, you can. He can know that the spirits was getting agitated, but it's not anymore. The frost kind of abates.
Ghost is getting angry.
All right. So one more. Another thing you could do is if you push yourself for 2 stress, you could increase your effect, which would just open this lock right now.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Pushed.
Okay. So the safe comes open, and inside you see multiple bags of just coin. You start pulling it out. Start handing a couple up to. You start handing a couple up to Sparks. And taking some on. So go ahead and everybody, like, you need 2 load to carry 2 coin, or you need 1 load for every coin you take, and so you've taken 6 coin worth of stuff. Also in the safe is a small little looks like a box, some sort of dark metal box, and and you touch it, and it feels cold to the touch, and that's all that's there.
Clearly, we're taking that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I have 2 load left that isn't spoken for.
okay.
Well, I have allocated my 3, but that means I could have 3 more to get to heavy, correct? Or am I done?
Yeah, you can go more. You can.
Okay.
It's just going to look like, hey, you're carrying stuff.
Now we're carrying stuff.
Yeah.
So, with push, can you push and push and push, or do a devil's bargain to get access to a special ability you didn't have?
Normally no, but yeah, we can make a deal. What you want?
I'm just filling up my playbook with ideas. That's all.
There you go.
In case the ghost becomes active,
Yeah. Now,
I would do a devil's bargain or push to get compel.
so a tune will let you do different things. Like a tune, you could deal with it. You could smack it with your lightning hook. Your lightning hook does great damage to supernatural things like ghosts.
Right, but that's fighting. And I was thinking if I could push myself to get compel, I may be able to command it to dissipate or go away.
Sure. Okay.
But only if we need to. We're not at that point yet.
Not
that
there yet. We could go there if you wanted to.
I'm sure you'd be more than happy to have that happen.
No, this run's been going pretty smoothly. So you start handing the coins back up. Everybody's loaded up now, and either you're marking your load as we had enough to take this, and now you still look like you did before, or you're going over your load and you look like you're a scoundrel now.
I'm up to 5 now if I took two pieces.
How many coin bags were there total?
6 total.
6.
And the
So-
box that weighs 2?
The box just is nothing. It's small enough to just slip into a pocket.
I can take 2, and I'm not loaded up yet.
Cool.
Yeah, I can take 2 and it takes me to normal.
I can take 2 and still be at the same load I was at, and then go 1 more to heavy.
But there were 6 bags, so if we
Yep.
each take
Yeah,
2,
we
we're
each get
good.
2.
Oh, then we're good. Okay.
All right. So you do it. How are you getting out? Are you closing things up before you leave, or you just
Hey guys, I don't have a rope.
that you can like stand on the desk and leap back up the hole?
First off, shut the vault.
Okay.
Shut the bookcase.
Yeah, I think we're professionals, so we would probably try to do this without it being as though we were even here in the first place.
There's a hole in the ceiling.
I know, but you know,
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
as
But
much
that's
as
going to be
possible.
but
when they find one of the coins on the guard upstairs. Everything's going to be taken care of.
And I have Saboteur, and it says the work is quieter than it should be, and the damage is hidden from casual inspection.
Yep. So,
So I can at least patch it up so that nobody's going to notice till we're gone.
Yep.
So glad you brought Spackle.
Right? That's part of my demolition tools.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
drywall work. That was my labor.
It is very
All right,
drywall.
sounds good to me.
Okay, so
I make
it's,
the driest walls of all.
You got a demo to Reno.
so it sounds like you guys are trying to be quiet and
Yeah.
want to sneak out of here. So you want to close everything up. This sounds like prowl to me. We can make this a group action if someone wants to lead that. It's a little bit different. What happens is everybody rolls their prowl, and the person who's leading the prowl will take stress for each person that fails. So if one person fails and you take one stress, if two people fail, you take two stress. So
So, question. What happens when my stress maxes out?
if when your stress maxes out, then you then that's when you fade out. You're broken for this for the rest of this score. You bail out and leave, either due to like psychic harm or
I can't take it anymore.
pretty much what
Right,
happens.
you're on your own. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is you get so stressed out that you fade out of the score basically, and you pick up a trauma for next time.
Okay. We're still good, but
I have only one stress, and I have one level of prowl.
I have
I have
0
2
levels
prowl.
of prowl. 0.0.
I'm the Prowler.
Okay. So either you can either lead an action, or everybody can make their own rolls.
I'll lead it.
Or is there something where he's making it, and I can aid him by taking a level of stress or something?
Well, you're all trying to like sneak out of here, so I think it's I
I see,
think it's
okay.
kind of a group action to get the heck out of here. And we're gonna take
And-
the
One way, John.
So-
All right.
so all you need is so right now we're doing good. We have a 6.
So I have 0, so I have to push myself to get 1, right?
If you want to roll a die, yes. Yeah, or you can roll 2 dice and take the lesser. And we could also do a devil's bargain.
He really wants someone to do a devil's bargain.
No, I don't care.
Just-
I'm offering it to you so you can have an extra dice without spending stress.
Well, I feel like I should prowl my butt out of here, so I should push myself so I can at least roll.
Okay, so roll 1 die.
I'm going to give myself 2 stress. And it's asking me risky whatnots.
Risky standard's fine.
Okay. Risky standard 1 die. I'm going to have to put 1 bonus die, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I have no dice.
Okay, so Aldo would take 1 stress.
That's fine. I took 2 to get him down to 1.
And I can push myself to add a die here
Yeah.
for 2 stress. So what's the consequence right now? Because Aldo rolled a 6 on his, right?
Yeah, so you guys have 6. You guys are getting out of here stealthily. Now we're just giving the person who's
See how
leading.
stressed-
Yeah,
Stressful it is for me.
Okay. Well,
So in reality, I didn't have to do mine, but it's too late. I already did.
no,
You did.
It's a group action. Like,
Oh, okay. So we have to roll. Got it.
Yeah.
oops.
so
His name is Clank.
Yeah. It's true.
okay, so yeah,
That was the idea.
you were professional. You like got right back up there, and then Clank has coins. He has his wrecking gear. He's standing on the desk, and you're like, and you keep him quiet, but at great mental stress to
Yeah.
no, do this, do this, do this.
I'm like
don't do
catching
that.
hammers as they almost fall.
And
Is there just one giant vein that is bulging in your forehead?
Yeah.
you heave him up, and at this point you're in a pretty controlled situation. I think at this point we can call the score done.
Woohoo! We
Nice.
scored it, boys.
guards were never even alerted.
So,
Before we leave, I turn on all water fountains and block them up.
Nobody likes you, by the way.
Call them the wet bandits.
The wet bandits.
you think the pipes work in this place? Okay, so
Well, I could make them work. That's the thing I can do.
you can fix them up and then jam them up.
We'd have gotten clean away, but somebody decided to stop and do some plumbing.
God. Then they hired me on. Crazy story.
Yeah.
All right.
This whole thing was the flashback. Now we flash forward to me 50 years later as a retiree. This is the first day of my career.
And that's how I became a professional plumber. Okay. After a score, the PCs take stock of their income from the operation. A successful score generates both rep and coins. The crew earns 2 rep per score by default. If the target of the score is higher tier, then take +1 rep per higher tier. This was against somebody that was of higher tier. So it's pretty easy to do since we're tier 0. So I'm opening up a gang sheet. We spent that coin for what's it? And now we have 6.
Woohoo!
All right. The crew earns 2 rep per score, so we got 2.
That's right, we do.
And take +1 rep per tier higher. I'm not going to tick this twice. I'm only going to tick it once. It was in Red Sash territory, but the pawn shop was really only like a tier 1 job, so I'm going to click that once.
Guys, I feel like he cheated us right there.
Okay, then I'll click it twice. Bam.
I'm just...
Too late. If
I can't unclick it?
Yeah.
I'm done.
If your crew is tier 1 and you pull off a successful blah blah blah. If you keep the operation completely quiet so no one knows about it, you earn 0 rep. Mark the rep on the rep tracker on the crew sheet. So we still earned rep because it wasn't like completely silent. We dealt with guards, we walked through people's houses and stuff like that. So you still get rep for it. But I would call this. This was 6 coin, a standard score, decent loot. The heat, I would say this was smooth and quiet, low exposure, no heat.
Mm-hmm.
+1 heat for a high profile, nope. +1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf, not really. Add +1 heat if you're at war with another faction, nope. No killing was involved. We're good to go, boys. That was too professional.
We did it. Woo.
So you pay off the Lampblacks. I'm going to go ahead and say that was really cool. I'm going to give you a bonus 1 status with the Lampblacks. It's like, we already knocked them over.
That was a good line. Yeah, we already did that one. What else you got?
Yeah.
Hey, okay, so we flash forward to there, and he's like, he's looking at, yeah, I've heard some good things about you, blah blah blah, and he's telling you about the job, and you guys are all nodding and oh
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, yep. It's
Oh,
above a pawn. Yep. Above a
brass-
drug dealer. Yep.
Yeah, the Brass King Pawn Shop. That's a good idea. Yep, consider it. We already did that. You've tossed the coin down on the sack of coins down on the desk, and he just looks at you. You shitting me?
Yep, and they had this box too.
Ah, we were going to tell him about the box.
Well,
We are very professional.
all right then.
We knew what you wanted done before you did.
If I find out you're lying to me, there's going to be an issue. But assuming you're telling the truth, he pours himself a drink and raises it to you. He doesn't offer you any, and he says, "Nice job." He takes a swig.
And so the legend grows.
Quicksilver and his drink right before he drank. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess we'll
Wait.
we'll see you around. And as you guys are leaving the warehouse, you hear a bell tolling in the distance, and you know it's the spirit bell. Someone just died. And as you guys are walking down the stairs, you hear Bazo come stomping down the stairs. You dumb bastards! You weren't supposed to kill him. And anytime someone dies in the city, what happens is this bell.
An angel gets their wings?
Yeah, basically.
Is she talking to us?
No, not to you. To the people that were roughing up the guy at the beginning of the session.
okay.
Red cloak or whatever.
So the spirit bell tower has rung, and what happens is these spirit crows go out, and they will locate the dead body, and so that the spirit wardens can dispose of the corpse and the spirit, so it doesn't raise up as an angry ghost. So you guys are leaving while they're dealing with that. All right, so we did our heat. No heat.
Proficient.
Yeah. Let's see. Entanglements. We're at 0 heat. You guys are slippery, so I'm going to roll this twice.
We get that in. Yeah. Roll that twice. Oh, wait, where's that? That's not the roll.
So 0 dice. Take the lowest. We got a 3 or a...
Why is it an or a?
Because we're rolling twice and taking the one you want. So we got gang trouble or the usual suspects. All right, so for gang trouble, one of your gangs or other cohorts causes trouble due to their flaws. You can lose... we forgot to set that up. You can lose face, forfeit rep equal to your tier +1. Make an example of one of the gang members or face reprisals from the wrong party. And the usual suspects... The blue coats grab someone in the periphery of your crew. One player volunteers a friend or vice purveyor as the person most likely to be taken. Make a fortune roll to find out if they resist questioning. 1 to 3 is +2 heat. 4 to 5 is level 2 harm on that guy. Or we can pay off the blue coats with 1 coin.
So here's a thought. Could me not dispatching that ghost, could they have gotten a print on us from that ghost or something?
Yeah. Like the Red Sashes might. You guys are pretty new, so they probably won't. And you didn't know that ghost, so they won't. They don't know it's the whatever your gang name is yet. You don't even have a name yet.
Yeah, but I thought that would, for the first option you gave us, we could use it for that, right?
Gang trouble. One of your gangs or other cohorts causes trouble. So this is one of your. So you have a gang of. You don't have that. So one of your cohorts is.
Oh, so not one of us particular.
Right.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, one of your friends is raising some problems. So which one would you rather deal with? Gang trouble or the usual suspects?
Well, what do you want to do? The usual suspects and just pay them off with a coin? Or do you want to get some trouble that could come back and haunt us in the future? I mean, Doug, I know you're all about trouble in the future.
Trouble is fun.
Screw future, Clank. What's he ever done for you?
It's true. I think complications are always interesting. I don't know what else we use money for, but
So could my demon? Oh, could Flint, my spirit trafficker enemy, be causing trouble? Not one of my cohorts, but he's one of my people I'm connected with, right?
Let's see.
I'm just wondering.
He might be making trouble for you.
Because you had asked at the beginning if any of us had a spirit trafficker as an enemy.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe we could tie that back into this trouble.
One of the reasons, I'll go ahead and give you some spoilers here. One of the reasons was this, inside that box, it belongs to that spirit trafficker.
Oh.
So he had pawned it or stored it there or something, and
now we have it.
now you have it. So that's why he was he was a cohort that was pissing in the Wheaties of this.
All right, I was just trying to figure out a way to someone to tie into either of the two things.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be my demon. My buddy.
Your buddy the demon.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just he has the heart of a child.
Could it be our gang? Could it be a Machio?
Yeah, we don't have. You have some rooks and some. I think we're supposed to have a couple of
Henchmen?
henchmen, rooks and skulks. So they could be causing
But
some trouble
Hugo.
somewhere. It
Could have been Hugo,
Could
right?
have been Hugo. So if it's gang trouble, you can lose face, so you can forfeit one of your rep, or you can make an example of one of the gang members, or you can face reprisals from the wrong party. So if it's one of your gang, then you can discipline them, and usually we'll start a clock, maybe a 4-segment clock of they're not taking your shit. And they'll fight back after they if that clock fills up. The other thing you could do is like Kent suggested, have one of your people gets pinched by the bluecoats, and they can either generate some heat, some harm, or pay the bluecoats off.
I think because we don't have all our henchmen and everything set up, that let's just roll with that one.
Okay.
What do you think, Doug? Just pay the coin, the one coin, and pay the bluecoats off for right now?
I think that makes sense dramatically.
Yeah. Because we want everything on the down low for this mission.
Yeah. And Andrew knows
I
his
agree.
other contact, so I think it's thematic and just like, hey, here's your taste. Stay off
Yeah.
our backs.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll to see what it would have been. If I get a 6, then we're good.
Uh-oh.
4. So yeah. Basically your crew, like somebody on one of your contacts would have been roughed up by the bluecoats, just beaten up. Level 2 harm. But you decide to pay them off instead.
Now that member of the crew owes us a debt. Yeah.
Yeah, Monchio maybe. Well, he's a
No,
contact. Is he
he's a
member of our
contact. He's not one of our crew. We don't have members of our crew yet. That's why I said let's just take it the easy way, because we haven't.
I
We
think
don't have John and Phil and Ted and Mark.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
hire those guys anyway. They don't sound interesting. They don't sound professional.
No, they do not.
I'll
Alright.
get all the guys from Ocean's 11, and we'll use their names.
Where did
Professional.
pay off?
Do you want me to check a coin off while I'm on this sheet?
Yeah, we should be down to 5 coin.
Toss a coin to crew.
Oh, good news. I can't do it.
All right, I'll do it.
I can do it.
I thought I could.
Yeah, you
Oops,
can.
Sorry.
It wouldn't go away.
There we go.
Yeah,
You have
so
to click the lower one.
Oh, is that what I was clicking the one I wanted to go away?
yeah, I don't like that. Where is?
I got all. If we continue this, I got all sorts of cool ideas in my head in my playbook for my guide. Just so you know.
Sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I really liked the idea of pouring the shit. What was that stuff called?
Quicksilver.
The quicksilver onto the ground and using it as a tracker. That was really cool. The mask and being able to see into the spirit world or whatever. That was really cool.
Okay, so for crew advancement, at the end of each session, for each item below, mark 1 XP, or instead mark 2 XP. Execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation.
This is for the crew, right?
This is for the crew.
Yep.
I'd say for a first one, and you guys doing so well, I'm going to go ahead and mark that twice.
That's right. Yeah.
Contend with the challenges above your current station. Yes, there were a couple of challenges that were above your current station. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. So your crew's reputation is professional, and I'd say you definitely did that.
Hooray.
Express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
We're just developing our crew, so we don't really have that yet.
Yeah, I don't think that one applies yet.
Okay.
If we're in our 6th or 7th game and we had some interpersonal dynamic, then I think that one
Is a gimme.
I mean, it was the first game. It was the session 0 and introducing the characters, so we didn't really get a chance to flesh them out. And
I'm gonna give you a bonus one for the crew reputation then.
okay.
All right,
Halfway
so
level.
halfway to a new special ability.
we get to give ourselves XP too.
Yep, you sure do. So open up your character sheet. All right. So there weren't any desperate rolls this time around. Nothing was desperate. One thing that you can do in the future, I didn't mention this, but you can trade position for effect. So if you wanted to hurry up and rush that job, you could go, hey, let's make this a desperate action, and then I'll get more effect. And so if you do that, anytime there's a desperate action, you can mark an XP. So I don't think anybody rolled a desperate action.
Nope.
So you addressed a challenge with your special skills.
I did. Yep.
For Harvest, I think it's stealth and evasion. So I'd say definitely. And if you feel like you did that a lot, then you can mark it twice.
I only did the looking at the spirit realm thing.
Let's see, you did that.
Talked about prepping for the ghost. Did you make any rolls related to that?
What do you mean?
I know you talked about how you were preparing for the ghost coming after us.
Yeah, but he never did, and I never pressed the issue. Had I known, I could have farmed XP.
This is one of the reasons why I wanted to go through XP advancement at the beginning of the group, because this was something that I learned at the end of my first session. I was like, oh, okay. So I like that there's XP triggers to encourage good play, you know?
I mean, I had what I was going to do if he came after us. He just never came after us. So I will not give myself credit for planning. But I have my one tick. I got one tick.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair. This game isn't about planning, as we've been told.
Yep. So you expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I don't know if I did that at all.
I'm going to give myself 2 for the skills because I did use both Rec and Tinker.
Yeah, I'd allow that. I feel like Harvest probably did some heritage and some background stuff. I think everybody can tick 1 for that. We know a little bit about everybody. What particularly stuck out in my mind was the story he told about his wife. I know it wasn't true, but
Not a word.
It was true. I related to everybody. I bought a cake.
You weren't even there.
I heard the story through the ghost.
Oh, that's right.
So you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session. I don't think that came up with anybody.
No.
All right. So where you mark that XP, it doesn't have to be playbook. It can be anywhere. So it looks like Harvest accidentally marked XP in a whole bunch of different spots. So I'm going to clear that.
Did I?
I think you were trying to say that was your resolve.
Yes. I thought like that bar across the top was like if you have 2, then that's your prowess pool.
I also thought that.
Nope.
Did I not do it in the right spot?
No, maybe you did, but if you're wanting another special ability, you want to fill up your playbook advancement. If you're wanting to upgrade a dot in prowl, then you'll want to increase your prowess.
You fill up the prowess bar.
So to do playbook advancement takes 4 XP. To do like a skill dot only takes 6 XP.
So I just put mine all under playbook advancement.
Yep.
in
So,
those.
so you can change that if you want.
I don't think I will. But so next time I could throw some up under resolve if I wanted to.
Yes.
You can split your XP around wherever you want it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And I think you guys have training on what do you call it? on your gang sheet. So the next thing that's up is a downtime activity. So some of you probably have a little bit of stress. Let's see here.
I have 1 point of stress.
I have the 3 stress points.
You children, you sweet summer children.
You only have one. I thought you were helping other people quite a bit, Doug.
Was I?
Every time you do a help action, you get a stress point.
How many times did I actually help? Because
I don't
every
know.
time I offered to help, it felt like somebody else jumped in and was like, I'll do it instead.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be true.
I could have goobered it up. I have no idea.
Okay. We'll pay more attention to that next time.
Yeah.
Let's assume that I'm at 3 as well.
Okay.
I can uncheck my load stuff right now.
Yeah. So, where's downtime?
And one of us is wounded. Harvest has 1 wound, right?
Yeah.
It's
I've got a headache.
I think that's just going to go away on its own. I don't think you need to treat that. By default, harm is really bad in this game, and it takes multiple downtime actions to get rid of it. But I think sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like you got messed with by a ghost, which is a serious deal, but it was through a wall, and it just kind of scared you. This was something that I don't feel should be eating up your downtime actions to replenish. So everybody gets 2 downtime activities unless we're at war. We're not at war. There's a suggestion for a bunch of different stuff. Acquire an asset, start a long-term project, recover, that's healing, reduce heat, train, or indulge vice. So, I know somebody probably wants to indulge their vice.
Yep, I am going to.
Before you do, hold on a minute.
I already did.
No, you're fine. You're like, we're definitely doing you.
All right.
You don't want to overindulge your vice, which is an issue. So I'm going to explain what happens. So indulging your vice. When you indulge your vice, you clear some stress from your character's stress track. The indulgence takes time, so it can be done with the crew as downtime. You roll to find out how much stress relief your character receives. A vice roll is like a resistance roll in reverse. Rather than gaining stress levels, you clear stress levels. The effectiveness of your indulgence depends on your character's worst attribute rating. So it's their weakest quality of insight, prowess, or resolve. So that's why you're only rolling 1 die. All right. So you roll that, and then that's how much stress you get to take recover.
And what happens if you overindulge?
And if you overindulge, then one of these few things happens. Either you attract trouble, so that you roll an additional entanglement. Since you're slippery, we'll roll twice. Brag about your exploits. +2 heat. Or, let's see. Lost. Your character vanishes for a few weeks. Play a different character until this one returns from their bender.
Nice!
Oh,
Clever.
God.
When your character
I like that one.
returns, they've also healed any harm they had. Tapped, your current purveyor cuts you off. Find a new source for your vice. So if you overindulge, bad stuff can happen.
Well, I'm going to go to the occult bookstore and look at some demon porn.
Okay, so in that case, you can roll your vice. And if you roll more than your stress, your current stress, then you have overindulged.
Oh, man.
Okay, so you have overindulged.
Yes, I did.
That those tentacles, man, whew, they got you
Yeah.
going. So what happens with your character when he overindulges?
Well, to be fair, I overindulged by 3.
Yes,
Because I only had 3 stress. So
yes.
I think he just gets into a book about whatever and loses all track of everything. Forgets to eat, drink, use the restroom, whatever, because he is indulged. He's reading about the occult. This is his. It's
So-
his book.
so
He has
you-
to know everything there is to know.
Are you lost? Are you gone for a few weeks doing this, or are we rolling up an extra entanglement?
I don't want to be gone for. Well, it's easy to say I'll be gone for a few weeks if this is a one shot.
Sure,
If it's going
but
to continue. I don't want to have to play somebody else.
Well, if you don't want to have to play somebody else, then
I'm thinking that I've hoarded this book long enough. I've pissed somebody else off.
okay. So we can roll another entanglement roll. Go ahead and
Yep.
roll a d6.
Nerds fighting in a library.
6 cooperation. Okay, a plus
That's how nerds fight.
a +3 status faction asks for you for a favor. Agree to do it or forfeit 1 rep per tier. If you don't have a +3 faction status, you avoid entanglements right now. Okay, so you avoid the entanglement.
There we go. Let's see.
It all worked out.
It
all
did,
worked out.
and I got to finish the book.
So I am at 3 stress right now.
I recommend not
Yeah.
indulging in
I
vice.
screwed up. I made a mistake.
I'm
I
thinking
did it in error.
I think I can sit on it.
If since everything worked out fine for you, Kent, I'm happy to let you go back and say, I want my extra downtime action and take and give yourself 3 stress, or you can just have no. stress.
I did it, so we'll let it roll.
Okay,
and it
that's cool.
worked out fine.
I respect that.
I just didn't realize I didn't catch that if you rolled over, you were screwed. That's the part I didn't get.
Right on.
Yeah, but now I do, and so does Doug.
What?
Learning from everyone's mistakes. All right. So other things you can. So people that indulge their vice have used one of their 2 downtime actions. Doug, you have 2 downtime actions.
And where do I see the list of what I can do?
In the book, I need to send a link out.
Oh, okay.
But right now, acquire an asset. So 1 special item, a cohort, a vehicle, a service. You can get that for 1 job if you want it. You can start a long-term project to possibly permanently acquire something like that.
So when you say an asset, he could get an asset at the county's blueprint office, which doesn't really exist, but someone where he could get blueprints or diagrams of tunnels or things like that.
Yep.
I mean, I only use that because we use that as an example during our game.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Downtime-
long-term project.
Downtime activities are kind of just what you want to do to kind of advance either your personal thing or advance the gang stuff. So we don't have any heat, so reducing heat doesn't seem like a good idea. You guys never did open that
The box.
open that box. So inside that box, you pick up the box and it's heavy for its size. It looks it's only about 4 inches by 4 inches square and about 1 inch tall. And there's just a simple hinge and clasp, and there's not arcane symbols on it, but it's just kind of engraved and weird. But after you've looked at it for a while, you can tell that it's lead. And you open it up, and inside is this necklace, and there's a decent sized sapphire on the thing, but it's as soon as you open up the box, there's this electrical discharge of electroplasmic energy. And just after the Whisperer takes a look at it, he's able to tell you that this is a special spirit bottle, and there's actually a ghost that is trapped inside this necklace.
Spirit bottle.
So I used all my downtime actions, correct?
Nope, you've used one.
Okay.
You indulged your vice.
Can I use the other to study this thing?
Yeah, we can start a long-term project.
Yeah, is that a thing? Because I have
Yeah.
pretty good study. I have 2 dots in it.
Cool. So let's see.
Unless someone else is going to do something with it. I don't want to jump on anyone's toes.
I was not. No, that sounds useful and cool.
I'm not touching that spooky ass thing.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I could blow it up or smash it, maybe.
That might come later.
All right, I'm gonna add a clock to you. Let's see. What are you trying to figure out?
I
Like, I picture there's two different things that you might want to know. You might want to know who's trapped in here, or you might want to know how to use this thing.
I'd rather right now know how to use it. I don't care who it is; they're dead.
Okay.
I use the dead for my own gains.
Okay, so we'll start a 6-section clock.
I saw that down there. I accidentally added one earlier.
That's fine. How do I use the spirit necklace?
Are you renaming it?
Yep, I have named the clock. Bloop.
Mine still just says clock name.
Let's-
Now it doesn't. Look, there's my clock.
Yay! Okay, so if you if you are studying it, I'd let you roll study, obviously.
I have that.
And you guys have a workshop, so I'd give you a bonus die for that. So
All right.
you can roll 3 dice if you want to.
Is this going to be controlled?
It's actually just it doesn't matter. This is a special roll.
Okay, so I'll just put controlled because it seems
Sure.
good. And 1 bonus die.
Yep. Okay, so you got 4, which is standard effect. That means you get to tick this clock twice. One of the neat things about this roll is like even if you fail, like if all you rolled was 1s and 3s, you'd still get to tick the clock once.
It's
So
not like wasted time.
yeah, so you're always making progress, which I think is really cool. So it's not just you roll and nothing happens. That doesn't happen in Blades in the Dark, and I think it's a merit of the system.
Yeah, I think so. It's never fun. It's just like, you waste your time.
Okay, and
I answered 2 questions correctly in Trivial Pursuit, guys.
nice. Let's see here. So how do I use the spirit? Okay, so that's good. So one thing you can do is you can spend 1 coin to increase your effect, and that would tick it 1 more time.
At this point, we're fresh out of the gate. I don't think I'd be spending money on something that I could just research.
Sure. Okay. So that's your 2 downtime activities. Does anybody else want to do anything?
Hold it. Do I get another XP because I addressed a challenge with the knowledge or arcane power?
Yes, you do, Kent.
Nice. I would probably also work on some sort of long-term project, but I don't know what it would specifically be.
Well, let's see here. Let me look at your character sheet and see if anything jumps out at me.
Are there like categories for long-term?
It's really
projects?
kind of up in the air. It's like, I want to make this person my friend, or I want to get a fine quality blade, or...
This game feels very open-ended. Do whatever you want,
Yeah, what would he be?
right? And then Eck will just tell you it's too hard.
Oh, so you do have fine wrecking tools. I would have given you 1 more die for that, since you have fine wrecking tools and you have bonus. Your tools are of fine quality for the gang already. So I would have double dipped that.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't even know that I had those fine tools because I had just marked off demolition tools and tinkering tools at the bottom.
Okay.
So,
So
no harm, no foul.
You had fine and fine, so you have double fine tinkering
That's
tools
very
and double fine wrecking tools.
Or I could take blowgun and darts with syringes. What?
So let's see.
Oh, I guess to
One of the cool things.
use my poisons and alchemical things on people.
Yeah, one of the things that you can do is you can start working on different alchemical things, and I'll get you a list of those. You could... You've pissed off the Psychonaut. You jerk. Now I gotta figure out what a Psychonaut does.
No, he'll just brood. Seems like a brooder.
No, he's gonna be messing with you.
No.
Not
Like,
Veldrin. Veldrin, come on!
I was gonna. I was originally gonna go with Eckerd Corpse Thief, but then I was like, no, it's got Eck in the name. I can't use that.
No, do that. Piss that guy off. He's a corpse thief.
Eckerd the Corpse Thief.
So, you didn't use any alchemicals, really. You used his stealth potion, but it's assumed that you have a supply, and you can refuel that unless something happens, like if you're rolling a desperate roll or something.
Which I stayed away from the alchemical stuff because it seemed like another game system that would require some form of explanation.
Yeah.
So I was okay to let that go for now.
You can train. You can spend some XP on, like if you train in prowess, then I think you get 2 ticks. Is it prowess? Yeah, prowess. So you just bloop bloop. Or you can train your playbook. Click 1 more XP there. Boom, boom, boom.
Could I train my playbook once and then do something long term related to the alchemy?
Sure. What is it you're trying to accomplish with the alchemy? Are you wanting to... Let's see.
I honestly do not know. Is there a list of any stuff anywhere?
There is, and I can get that to you.
Yeah, then let's. Is it cool if I hang on to my downtime until
Yeah.
I know about that?
Make a note
I'll
on your
probably just-
character sheet.
Okay. Then I will also not put the XP into the playbook.
Cool. So just make a note that you have both your downtime activities.
Done and done.
All right. And Andrew, did you want to spend your last downtime activity?
Yeah, I think I'll just train.
Cool. Doing prowess or playbook or something else?
Prowess.
All right. So tick 2 more.
Nice.
Nice. Looking good, everybody.
Thanks.
Cool. So technically, the what do you call it? The gang can only hold 4 coin in its vault, and it has 1 left over. So you can either all take 1, or somebody can take 1.
Man. Well, I'll let one of the 2 guys who did the hard work take that coin. I don't.
I am not concerned with riches.
You're in the wrong line of work.
I know.
Okay, I'll take the coin. I took it. Too slow.
Good. You can spend it on your ghost prostitutes.
Hessler was too busy looking at a Lego. He lost out.
Or you can spend it on your
Spend
long-term
it on
project.
Yeah, now I'm going to spend it on my long-term project. I'm going to get another tick.
Bam.
And I'm going to share it again.
There you go. Well,
Nice.
cool. That was
How do I use the spirit necklace?
so let's see here.
Whoever made this character sheet did a pretty good job.
Oh yeah, the character sheet in here and just in the print book is actually pretty good. And
Well, I'm impressed with this digital version.
yeah, definitely.
It's very clean.
Yeah.
The graphics are nice.
So probably at this point, if this wasn't a one shot, we'd be talking about future plans and what we were thinking about doing next time. So I could do my little bit of preparing, but I think that's where we'll call it for now. Hope you guys had fun.
Yeah, it was really good. Thank you for running it.
Yeah.
I would be interested in probably playing this more.
Yeah, I'd be down. I like the format. Now that I understand how things work, I can be a little bit more invested if we play in the future.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve at first, and so we spent like an hour or 2 talking about the game system and stuff like that. But I feel like it after that, it just kind of starts flowing naturally.
Yeah, the biggest learning curve is just learning that you can just do what you want.
Yeah, it's a very open game system and very story driven, and fiction first gaming is what they like to call it.
That's cool. Makes sense to me.
So cool. We'll try to work this in every once in a while, and this is the type of game where if people can't show up, then we can play this.
Did somebody overindulge their?
Yep, somebody overindulged
vice.
their vice, and there we went.
There you go.
Right on. Well, thank you very much, sir. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you.
You guys have a good night.